R-13A, Cerberus. The Anchor Force unit, this fighter from arms maker Warwick Incorporated, was radically different from all previous R fighters. The ambitious design incorporated innovative technologies, such as a wave cannon with homing ability and cable-type force. The pilot interface also introduced groundbreaking technology. The pilot's nervous system connects directly to the fighter's systems. The R-13A was sent to investigate the Bido Seed incident in 2164, but all communication ceased just as the mission was completed. The military never made an announcement about the loss. That was from R-Type Delta. It has the Lightning Wave Cannon, 2 loop max, new weapon developed to give the wave energy some homing ability. The bolts seek out and target the enemy. And the Anchor Force, the Force's natural instinct to destroy, is conveyed to the Talon-like control rod. This prompts it to greedily devour any object it comes in contact with. The control rod alone is insufficient to manage the vast amounts of Bido energy. An additional control line is connecting to the fighter directly. This is the chain that connects the force to the actual unit when you eject the force out. I have not dabbled on it much, but every force does typically act a little bit differently, not only when mounted, but also when ejected. Compared to a lot of the other stages, this one isn't that bad, though I remember it being far worse than at least my experience this time. I think one of the bigger issues is you just need a ship with high single target damage. There are a lot of enemies in this stage that all have a lot of health that you just need to focus down. So you're better off going with something probably like a red laser, a high damage red laser, instead of something like, say, a blue that's good for screen clearing. One of the biggest dangers are going to be these yellow balls that bounce around the room, largely because they are both fast and bounce around the room, so sometimes it can be hard to tell where they're going to go. If you can kill them early, then they're not that big of a threat. But there are a couple times, maybe if you miss one, it can get out of hand, and then you're not really sure what to do with the direction that they're coming from. These large urchin balls as well can certainly be destroyed. In fact, you have to on several occasions. But they take a lot of meat to take down. Here I was kind of hoping that the forces would take out the top ones at the top and bottom, but they didn't. So we ended up leaving most of the urchins alive back there. This is not a bad ship. This has pretty decent single-target DPS. And I think that may be one reason why I had a pretty alright time here. Because I certainly remember my very first time playing through the stage having a horrible time. Do not grab this yellow if you can avoid it. Yellow is not going to have the damage or the area to take out anything you need to take out in this level. And it's mostly going to make everything else a pain in the butt. Also be careful of the little purple orbs. Even after you've killed him, they are still pooled at the bottom of the screen, slowly working their way up. So second time around I did manage to avoid getting yellow. Blue is still only doing so good though, and I was unable to take care of the urchins on the left, which means I was unable to take care of the spider thing. Which means the little bouncy guys just kind of got around and were kind of annoying. A little bit scary. Still made it. The spiders don't have a lot of health. It's more a matter of that you're probably going to be distracted with other things. By and large, the worst part of this stage, though, is the boss. And this is another place where you can choose which stage you're going to go to. In fact, this is going to be the biggest choice that we make, as this leads to 6.0, 6.1, and 6.2, all of which lock you in to the stage 7 that you're going to be finishing the game with. So this is where you choose your finale. This boss is a pain in the butt, and I was kind of hoping the red laser would just be able to pierce through its crowd, but it didn't pierce quite as well as I'd hoped. The crowd does not necessarily always follow the boss, and that's probably one of the biggest dangers. You have to keep an eye not just on the boss, but also each individual part of the crowd. They may rejoin the boss, but maybe not. R11B, Peacemaker. Patrol Spinner, a variation of the R11 slated for use in metropolitan areas. Minimizing danger to civilians was a priority. One method was achieved. For achieving this was equipping the craft with a lock-on wave cannon. Now, I mentioned Armed Police Unit Gallop before. This is the ship. Lock-on wave cannon, Tulu Max, built for use in metropolitan areas. Target position is updated in real time, and energy beams will continue to strike the target. The Gallop Force once again returns, developed for use in narrow spaces. Then Laser was developed for use in cities or certain battles where collateral damage must be kept to a minimum. In comparison to 5.0, 5.1 is a jerk of a level. This level can eat it. Just as before, every enemy in here takes quite the beating to take down, so you're probably going to want to stay on red pretty much the entire time. An important thing to note with these submarines is that they only shoot out the missile when you are directly in front of them. So try not to weave around in front of them, because they're just going to shoot more. An interesting aspect of this ship is or this force, I should say, is the laser does actually change with your speed. On the fastest speed, it actually has the weakest laser. So you're going to want to lower your speed if you want really good damage. I was unsure of how to use the mines here very well, trying to get my force to do some work, but as it turns out, this ship's charge beam is really good here. Similarly, these clams absolutely can be killed, but they take a very large beating to do so. So let's try that again with the charge beam, which does a really good job of locking onto anything nearby, including enemies above or behind you, letting you take out these mines. So for this, you would want to lower your speed, so you can power these down as fast as possible. You have to hit the orb at the center of the clam, and you have to hit it dead on. You can't hit the back of the shell or anything. You can hit the orb while not getting hit by the laser that it points out. The difference between the blue clams and the yellow clams is that the blue ones will always open in the same direction. The yellow ones will actually turn back and forth, depending on where you are. At least I think it's depending on where you are. Some of them just don't turn around, like this yellow one just here on the right. It starts out facing right, and I've never seen it face left. There's also a POW armor just back there a little bit that dropped a yellow. If you get that yellow, that's a death sentence. Going up here, you're going to want to kill every clam you possibly can, especially the ones on the right, that you can get away with putting your force on your back side and using your force to kill the one on the left, and your regular shot to kill the one on the front. However, this clam in the far upper right here, leave alive. That one's your friend. It protects you from the clam in the upper left. Charge shot going down here again. Now, if you have bits that can aim around you, this is where they're going to really come in handy. Because this next section is a real joke. Also, I didn't realize about the speed thing yet, which is why I'm always staying on the lowest speed, meaning the lowest DPS. Be careful of that yellow clam. It's not actually sitting flat, which means it will not shoot directly at you. Not killing that yellow clam, though, is almost a death sentence. It's going to make the rest of your life right here a massive pain. Ideally, you would want to have avoided all of that and just gotten down as quickly as you could. I hate this stage. So by this point, I've put probably an hour into this stage, and I know a lot better about what I'm doing. So you power that one down, power him down. There's going to be another submarine at the top. And then you power down the blue clam right here. There's also going to be another submarine at the top you'll want to take out. Now you flip your force around to take care of the clam on the left. If you fail, that is fine. Most all of the clams in here you're going to be passing by before they become too big of a threat. Now, my first time down here, I forgot entirely what to do about this. And I wasn't sure if I needed to go left or right or wherever. Still keeping the force on my back just to take out this blue clam. And we'll flip it around, eventually, so we take out the front one. Now I was deciding, do I want to go top route or bottom route? Top route is fine because all the submarines are right in front of you. So you're destroying what they're shooting at you, and you don't have a way to get out of position. Then they started coming from the back. I chose the top, though, because I didn't want to deal with the clams and, like, going above a clam while it's opening or below a clam otherwise. But I think the clam route is actually better because it'll just clear up space so you can get around later. Killing that blue clam is going to be a pain, but you don't really need to. Focus on killing the yellow one, and then just kind of don't worry about it. The submarines will go away up top, except for this one. And then the final gatekeepers are these two yellow clams. Kill one quickly, move up to the top. Now, I didn't kill that mine up top fast enough, so I was kind of limited as to where I was going to go. Which put me in a bad position to still have to deal with the yellow clam. But we made it! We made it! This stage is like a third of a stage too long. And it does what a number of stages do, I've noticed, which is just have one segment of it that's unbelievably hard. So this boss is kind of an anglerfish, almost. It starts out putting out a number of lures in the shape of other ships. And the two we saw there, the R9s and the POW armors, are the two easiest lures to deal with. As for the fish itself, I noticed you could attack its fins and back. So I was trying to destroy them, since it looked like something that you could do. Destroying the fins and back, I don't know if actually accomplish anything. They may slow it down, maybe? So you see me adjusting my speed quite frequently in order to get high damage when I need to. Now, the two worst lures to deal with are the large ship that you see up top, as well as the turtles, which we saw last time. The large ships just act like the submarines, but you don't have to be right in front of them for them to shoot their homing torpedo. They're just spewing a lot of homing torpedoes and can very easily kill you with them. So generally, you want to take down the large ships first. The R9s are really not much of a threat. If you see one charging, don't be in front of it. That's really it. And here, I don't know if it's this ship in particular. This may just not have a great... This may just not be a very powerful ship. But this boss felt like it took way too long to kill. Now, the turtles are the other kind of worse one. And that's mostly because all they do is they shoot out one little round shot, but they will shoot it at you kind of wherever. It's an aimed shot. So again, depending on where they are and what else you're dealing with at the same time, they can be very dangerous. So the only real place to hurt this boss is by shooting into its mouth. So got put into a kind of bad position here with the crab, with both two turtles and the ship. As I stayed on the left, thankfully the ship was on the far right, so I could kind of focus on the two turtles. I got caught out of position, though, and forced to do some weird dancing. The boss itself is kind of hard to hit. Just save up a charge shot and hit it when you can. An easy pattern again, so no real worries. I think the POW armors may even drop a power-up, which is nice. Of course, our damage is low enough as it is, so we really do not want, if we can avoid it, to get anything other than red. Have a turtle up top. So make sure to take out the turtle as quickly as possible, but also keep an eye on the rockets that the submarine shoots out. Now the boss has gone into kind of an enrage. I don't know if this is because I've been taking too long to kill it, or if it's just something it does when it's near death. But it's moving substantially faster now. Which had me very worried. But it's still the same pattern, it's doing the same thing it did before, and if you could manage to dodge it before, you can manage to dodge it now. Got him, though I was worried, because he was coming right at me.